and deceive you.
So part of understanding the truth concerning the coming, the second coming, and we are included in that second coming. Understand that second coming that's prophesied is a shift of power. So whatever others might believe, what's ever coming is for us next. Okay? We believe it to be Christ. See? We believe it to be Christ. Read. Many shall take heed, read.
Take heed that no man deceive you.
That no man deceive you.
Verse 5.
Now that deception would come in many forms. So the Bible is telling us to beware of certain things, such as deception. We would have to understand what happened in the Bible to identify the deception. So by those that would like to place the Bible down and say it doesn't matter, you will not recognize the for Christians. They work on the atheist side too. See? They work with the science that actually disprove the Bible. So these quote unquote Christians are really Satanists, and I'm talking about those that's at the pinnacle of Christianity, of the Roman Catholic Church. The radio the other day, that you have to actually go into the book to see the difference of what the book is saying opposed to the deception that came from the Roman Catholic Church, because they not only work on the Christian side of things, they also work on the atheist side of things. It's the Jesuits that's behind all this history to make us not believe in the Bible now. It's the Jesuits that's coming up with information that Christ never existed. It's the Jesuits that's coming up with science and archaeology that tried to disprove the Bible by saying the quotes. They work on the atheist side too. See? They work with the science that actually disprove the Bible. So these quote unquote Christians are really Satanists, and I'm talking about those that's at the pinnacle of Christianity. Those that are in the Pan-African community understand that also. But they equate the Bible with the actions of the Roman Catholic Church. And that's what I was trying to relay over the radio the other day. That you have to say, I am Christ, and shall deceive many.
That no man deceive you.
That no man deceive you.
Verse 5.
Now that deception would come in many forms. So the Bible is telling us to beware of certain things, such as deception. We would have to understand what happened in the Bible to identify the deception. So by those that would like to place the Bible down and say it doesn't matter, you will not recognize who's doing the deceiving. Now the Bible is actually speaking of, because Christ says, many shall come in my name and say, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. So the biggest deception would come through who? You got it, the Roman Catholic Church. Now the Roman Catholic Church, they don't only just work on the spiritual side of just setting up churches and theology for Christians. They work on the atheist side too. See? They work with the science that actually disprove the Bible. So these quote unquote Christians are really Satanists, and I'm talking about those that's at the pinnacle of Christianity. Those that are in the Pan-African community understand that also. But they equate the Bible with the actions of the Roman Catholic Church. And that's what I was trying to relay over the radio the other day. That you have to actually go into the book to see the difference of what the book is saying opposed to the deception that came from the Roman Catholic Church. Because they not only work on the Christian side of things, they also work on the atheist side of things. It's the Jesuits that's behind all this history to make us not believe in the Bible now. It's the Jesuits that's coming up with information that Christ never existed. It's the Jesuits that's coming up with science and archaeology that tried to disprove the Bible by saying things were 1 billion years old. These are,
Big Bang.
The Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory, which disproved the Bible's account of creation, was actually started by the Jesuits.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying is that science you're going into was also started by the same enemy you say stay away from. How can you first say, well, hold up, we need to be separate and not deal with other people and just our people, when every time we try to come together, you bringing in their science, when they have deceived you too? The question is, why would they rather you call yourself African and not Israel? I don't see no other people. I don't see none of the other nations trying to be African. Everyone is looking at Jerusalem as the land, trying to be the people. As a matter of fact, the people ruling this earth, they actually stake their claim in that land because they know that there's a prophecy that comes with that particular land. But we haven't identified ourselves as the people of that land. So, yes, have there been deception, brothers and sisters? Absolutely. Yes, there's deception, but you must go into the Bible to separate what's true from the deception. Now, getting back on point, let's just first start with Africa itself. First of all, according to the Bible, there was no such landmass as Africa. Even way back when, through biblical and historical maps, it was actually called the land of Ham. That's historical fact. The land of Ham. So let's go there real quick.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 105, verse 23.
And I'm putting this out there because there's a lot of our Pan-African brothers that mean right, but if, just like some of the Muslims do, they have just taken word of mouth what people have said against the Bible and started attacking it without even going into it. And I think the Most High I had a chance this week to go into it with the brother, because all the things that he thought was false about the Bible, he just didn't have any understanding on it.
Hmm.
He was more so viewing the Bible from the myth that was taught through the Roman Catholic Church. And I'm going to give some of those examples today in case some of you run into others that will use these examples of why they don't deal with the Bible. I'm going to go through those also. So we're going to kind of have like, yes, it's a Sabbath lesson, but we're going to have class. Okay? Read.
Psalms 105, verse 23. Israel came into Egypt.
Israel came into Egypt. Now listen to that clearly. Read.
And Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham.
The land of what?
The land of Ham.
And Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. So there was no such word as Africa at first. So when you read the Bible, for those that would like to go into it strictly from a historical standpoint, because you can do so, if you read the Bible from a historical standpoint, Jacob in Israel was in the land of what? Ham, or the land of Canaan, which was outside of what we call Africa, which would be called Israel or Palestine today. When there was a famine, and there's archaeological proof of this famine if you want to go into your history, Jacob and his sons, led by Joseph, went into Egypt and stayed there for a time. So Israel was not a nation at first because only 70 souls walked in to Egypt for refuge for a time. See that? But it wasn't called Africa. The Bible tells us that we went into the land of Ham. This is black people going to live amongst other black people. Different race, but they're still people of color. You understand? So when you say Africa, 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 you're actually going away from the true origin of what was there. And if you like to say that, oh, well, hold up, the Bible has things in it, But our stuff is older and our history is older. Well, why even say Africa? Because Africa was not mentioned. So what we're going to do here, strictly for the sake of time, we hit some points. Hit some points here. Just dealing with the Africa thing real quick. Let's go into the Josephus and show the brothers and sisters the origin of why Africa was named Africa.
This is Josephus, Antiquity of the Jews, Book 1, Chapter 15, Paragraph 1.
And this is an historical book. All right, read.
Abraham after this married Keturah, by whom 6 sons were born to him.
So Abraham married Keturah, from which 6 sons was born to him. Read.
Men of courage and of wise minds.
Go ahead.
Zimran and Jokshan, and Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua. Now the sons of Sus, or Shua, were named Sabbathan, Sheba, and Dadan. The sons of Dadan were Latusim, and Ashur, and Loum. The sons of Midian were Ephah, and Ophran, or Epher.
Go ahead.
And Anak, or Hanak, and Abadias, or Abadiah, and Eldis, or Eldah. Now for all these sons and grandsons, Abraham contrived to settle them in colonies, and they took possession of Troglodytis, the country of Arabia the Happy, as far as it reaches to the Red Sea. It is told about this Ophran that he made war against Libya and took it, and that his grandchildren, when they inhabited it, called it from his name Africa.
Called it what?
And that his grandchildren, when they inhabited it, called it from his name Africa.
From his name Africa. So the name Africa actually comes from the children of Abraham when you do the research. See, a lot of you don't even know this. So when you want to talk about Kemet or Egypt, that's only one of the 4 sons of Ham. But that land region, Africa, was named after who? Abraham. So when you look at that region or the past, it wasn't just quote unquote what you would call Hamites living in that land. At one time, the children of Abraham resided in that land. And during that time, that's when the land became great. So we're here to help you understand history outside of just looking through dark glasses. Africa, Africa, or black, black all the time. Okay? Now, back then, as a Pan-Africa, in Africa, as you claim, why did you fall? You should not have fell. If you're doing all the right things and you're following the right religion, about the white man God or the Christian God. I'm talking about the God of the Hebrews, the God of Israel. The Hebrews are and were and is black people. So just because you're black don't mean everyone should become Pan-Africans and follow a African religion, because the Hebrews were black too. So I'm going to take you on a little trip if you can follow me here. But before I go there, we're going to go there in Exodus.
Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
So when the Bible makes a statement, and I've heard Farrakhan and others, even Pan-Africans make this statement, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. But what knowledge do we lack? Obviously, if you're reading this verse out of the Bible, it has to be knowledge contained in the Bible. Of Africa, the knowledge of different things we go into. But what knowledge are we lacking? My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Read.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
So since we have rejected the true knowledge of God, because Satan have knowledge too, we have become a rejected people. Now, I don't care what you call yourself. If you're a black person, whether you, and I'm just speaking to this black thing right now. If you're a black person, whether you Pan-African, Egyptian, whether you Muslim, whether you Christian, one thing we can all agree with. Read that last part again.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
You cannot deny that we are a rejected people. That something happened in which we got the short end of the stick. That we were rejected. Read it.
That thou shalt be no priest to me.
So now, because of this rejection, we no longer are held in authority as the priests of the Most High. See that? At one point, the whole earth came to us for understanding and spirituality. Read.
Seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy God.
Because we've forgotten what?
Seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy God.
That's the key thing, brothers and sisters. Why are we lacking knowledge? We have forgotten the law of our God. So suppose in captivity, while you've lost everything, the enemy put something out there to make you grab to, so that you don't go back into the Bible to go into the laws that we rejected or forgotten. See? These laws in the Bible are righteous, and that's why the whole earth till this day is attacking the Bible. They try to stop the Bible from being the pinnacle of morality, because there's something in it that belongs to us. Right? Read that last part again.
Seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy God.
Now, how did we forget the law of our God? We had it at one time. How did we forget? The Bible tells us that we would discontinue from our heritage. Let's go there real quick. Sure that the Bible tells us.
Jeremiah 17:14.
Yes. 17.
17:4, Salak.
Yes.
Jeremiah 17:4.
Read it.
And thou, even thyself,
And thy, even thyself,
shall discontinue from thine heritage.
shall do what?
Shall discontinue from thine heritage.
Shall discontinue from thine heritage
That I gave thee.
that the Most High gave us. Read.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
And I shall cause thee. Now you have no identity. You have no heritage. Now, when you lose the knowledge of yourself, that makes you subject to who put you in this condition, or subject to your rulers. Read it again.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage.
That means the heritage, that rich heritage you had in the past, contained in the Bible, you will discontinue from. Read.
That I gave thee.
That the Most High gave thee, which is the laws, statutes, and commandments. Read.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
I shall cause thee to serve thine enemies
In the land which thou knowest not.
in the land which thou knowest not. At this time, brothers and sisters, when this prophecy was given to the children of Israel, there was no such place as America. So by us rejecting a law, the law of our God, came a curse, in which we would one day, our children would serve an enemy in a land which we knew not. Let me tell you, no other philosophy, religion, or anything can explain our condition. So I can understand why the Jesuits would work on the atheist side and put science out there to have our people say that we shouldn't even go into the book. It's the only thing. The Bible is the only tool that ties our condition to the past. Rightfully so. You can go into Egyptology and all these things. Even if you go into Egyptology, you ask an Egyptologist, why are all the dates so skewed and backwards when it comes to looking at dynasties of ancient Egypt? Why no one can go back and just look at the dynasties and just line it up historically? They can't give you an answer. The reason why, they purposely messed up that era with history so that we couldn't go back and see ourselves there as Hebrews in Egypt. I'm going there too. See? So they don't care if they mess up history for others. As long as we don't find out and line up our dynasties with the Egyptian dynasty, so that we can see that not only were we in Kemet, we ruled Kemet as Israelites. When you look at Hyksos, it means in Hebrew, shepherd kings. And we know the Egyptians were not shepherds. To be a shepherd was an abomination to them. So what did the Egyptians and Greeks do? I'm going to go there in a moment. They came together and conspired against us. So when we look back, Israel will be written out of past history. See? So yes, you can still go and see the greatness of Egypt, but never be able to relate yourself back there as the children of God that left there and went into the land of Canaan. See? Now, something happened while we were, let's go back to Egypt real quick to show you there's a difference between our God and the Egyptian and what you call it today, quote unquote, African God. Let me show you something that you probably didn't know. Read.
Exodus chapter 5, verse 1.
Go ahead.
And afterward Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord God of Israel,
The Lord God of Israel,
let my people go,
let my people go, because Israel served in Egypt. Read.
that they may hold a feast unto me.
So that his people can hold a feast of sacrifice to him, opposed to the Egyptians. Read.
In the wilderness.
In the wilderness. So that was the history, the biblical history of when the Most High went to Moses and said, you know what, it's time, now that our people have become a nation and are great in number, it's time for them to leave there and receive the land that was promised to Abraham. See, when Israel first walked into Egypt, there was only 70 souls. But a multitude walked out. A nation walked out. So I'm putting this out there to the Pan-Africans and the realize Israel was not a nation at first. They became a nation after living decades and centuries in Egypt. They became a multitude. And eventually, the Most High led Israel out of there after destroying the Egyptians. And anyone have been to Egypt? I've been there. Say what you want. Egypt is not the jewel it once was. It's still cursed based on what happened at that time between the Israelites and the Egyptians. Okay? It's still cursed till this day. It's a cursed land. Now, when you look at the Israelites that came out, there was a difference between them and the Egyptians. They weren't the same bloodline, and that's what you have to know. So some of you brothers have to get off this black kick and just dealing with skin color. Because outside of the European, all nations have hue. But let's not go there. Let's go back to the religions for a moment of Africa. All right? I don't want to spread all over the place because I got my mind how I want to deal with this one part at a time. The Most High told Israel, you leave there so you can sacrifice to me. He took down the Egyptian powers. Israel went to the land of Canaan as a nation, and the land was no longer called Canaan, which was one of the sons of Ham anymore. It was called Israel. It was then called Israel. Now, I'm going to go into the Hyksos in one moment, but before I go there, let's go here. I need you to go to Deuteronomy 7 real quick. to show you how our God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, how he told his people not to deal with the worships and gods of the other nations. I need you to go there, Deuteronomy 7:1, read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1.
Go ahead.
When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land, whither thou goest to possess it,
When the Most High God bring us into the land, read,
and have cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou.
yes.
And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt make no covenant with them.
Thou shalt not make any covenant with these people. Now, these people were part of the Anunnaki. Now, even Pan-Africans know Anunnaki. These were powerful Africans that linked to Nephilim. That was almost super beings. They were setting this earth to fight against us. So a lot of you are honoring the Anunnaki or the sons of Anak and the different giants that were part of Africa. We're not those people. The Most High God told us that he was going to destroy them. You're on the wrong side of this, is what I'm showing you. Read.
The rest of verse 2.
Go ahead.
Nor show mercy unto them.
Nor show mercy unto them.
Verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Go ahead.
For they will turn away thy son from following me.
They will turn away our sons and daughters from following the Creator. So when we left, the Most High gave us laws, statutes, and commandments. Now, were those laws, statutes, and commandments in Egypt before that? Absolutely. Why? Because Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob went into Egypt and had laws and statutes and things that they couldn't deal with, opposed to the Egyptians. That's why you have in history, even in Egyptian history, kings that brought in monotheism during the same times of what they call the Hyksos period. They didn't deal with the gods of Egypt. Who do you think these people were? Who do you think they were? Psychover. We were there because we helped the Egyptians at first, and they turned on us. We were there and they turned on us. We defended ourselves against them. Eventually, they tricked us into servitude and separated us and started destroying us and killing us until our God intervened. That's when we left. And the law that we once had by word of mouth was made in stone. So don't say, well, there's proof that the law was in Egypt before Israel came out of Egypt. Of course the law was in Egypt first. Our people were in Egypt. Okay? So of course our law was there. It was word of mouth at first. But when we came out of Egypt, the Most High etched it in stone for generations to come. I hope this is getting through to you. Because what I'm doing, I'm putting together through the Spirit of the Most High the missing pieces that a lot of you in the Pan-African community lack. because you don't want to read the history, the historical part of the Bible to understand yourself and the fact that these stories are true historical stories. It's the only thing that makes sense. Or would you rather just be confused and run around in a circle not knowing from whence we fell? Now, I'm getting there. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32 real quick. Deuteronomy 32 and 21.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 21.
More reason we fell. Read.
They moved me to jealousy with that which is not the Most High.
So we started moving God to jealousy with that which is not God. In a nutshell, we began to follow the religions and the gods of the Africans and others, of the other nations, whom the Most High told us to stay away from and not deal with. We were only to deal with the God that delivered us, who gave us laws, statutes, and commandments. Why? Because Israel is the prince of God, the prince of power. We are not heathens. We're not supposed to live amongst the heathens or operate like heathens. We are a people of law. But eventually, we began to deal with the other nations. So what happened? Read.
They moved me to jealousy with that which is not the Most High.
We started dealing with other gods outside of the God of Israel. We started going back to the gods of Egypt, the gods of Babylon, the gods of Japheth. We started going into those and delving into their magic and witchcraft. Read.
They have provoked me to anger with their vanities.
Read.
And I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people.
So since we put up a no God for him, he put up a no people for us. That's the only answer to why we're the lowest on the totem pole while other nations thrive. Okay? That's the only reason. There's nothing you can point to. You can't say, well, we began to be jealous of each other or through pride and all this. Just bringing in these general terms without giving a sure reason to why we're in this condition. The only reason we're in this condition is it's spiritual. There's no way the other nations, how weak they are and how weak they were, could have brought us to this condition from a physical standpoint. That's an impossibility. There must have been a spiritual intervention. At one time, we were the powerful. Look at the stories of how the Most High God was working in Gideon's sword against the enemies. Look how he was working through Samson's hair against the enemies. Look how he was working with the Ark of the Covenant, with the Levites in the Bible, to destroy the enemies. Our God fought before us. That's the only reason nations could not attack and come against us, because we were getting help from the spiritual realm. The Egyptians and others were following the Anunnaki, the fallen angels, and were getting magic and things from that realm. But they could not topple us until we began to delve into their magic and deal with their gods, their witchcraft. Then our God backed up and said, you know what? If you don't respect what I'm doing for you, I'm going to turn you over to these people. And when you serve these gods, eventually the people that serve these gods better than you will overtake you. See? That's the only thing that makes sense. So yes, I'm listening to Pan-Africans and going back into Egypt and seeing some of that great history they're speaking of. Of course I am. But I can relate us as Israel being there, being the forerunners of that history and not equating that to any other God or any other people. See? Finish reading.
I will move them to jealousy with those which are not a people.
Read.
I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation.
I will provoke them to anger with a what?
A foolish nation.
So the Most High God, the God of the Bible, put a foolish nation over us. So look at the people ruling today that are over us, who have no regard for the earth, no regard for the sea, no regard for the air we breathe, operating as fools. Why? We're reading why. But you must go to the book to see why we fell as a people. It's the only thing that makes sense. The only reason that fools are ruling this earth is because we started following the fools. That's an answer to our condition. And then we got historical facts to bring us from Africa to America, that it all comes out of the Bible, that can show you our fall, our rise, and our fall. Read.
Verse 22. For a fire is kindled in mine anger, and shall burn unto the lowest hell.
Go ahead.
And shall consume the earth with her increase, and set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap mischiefs upon them, I will spend my arrows upon them. They shall be burnt with hunger, and devoured with burning heat, and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust. The sword without and terror within shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, and the suckling also with the man of gray hairs. I said, I would scatter them into corners.
I will do what?
I would scatter them into corners.
According to the prophecies, because Israel began to operate with other nations, the Most High displaced them, took them out of the lands. Africa is an extension of Yasha'Allah, Jerusalem. See, that's how we know the people over there cannot be Israelites. Because why? When you look at the proximity or the location of Israel, it's connected to Africa, isn't it? See? Starting to make sense to you now, right? So you're going into Africa without relating to the people that rule all of Africa. See? The people of Abraham, the children of Israel. See? It's not the Egyptians that we should be reverencing. It's not the Canaanites or the Libyans or the Hamites we should be reverencing. They at one time reverenced us. So the curse said that we will be scattered into corners. Now, sometimes we have to, I know we be having these deep level discussions, but sometimes we have to take it back to elementary. Those that are in the Bible, to claim that the Bible contradicts itself. I'm going to go through those too. Let's go to 1 Timothy's. The sixth, you got it? 1 Timothy's 6 and 20.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20.
Go ahead.
O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust.
Keep that which is committed to thy trust. And we know that what's committed to the trust is the law, statutes, and commandments. When Christ came on the scene, he avoiding why people can't come together amongst the so-called Pan-African or African liberation or militarized movement. And what you seen was 2 hours of vain babblings. You understand? You had one person saying he was a Moor, which is really black people, when you look at it, who was taken down by Spanish Muslims, in Spain, Muslims. So Moors were just a product of those that were scattered and destroyed. There was no such thing as Moors. These people were military wing, where one guy was talking about just going out into some remote area and building himself a military that no one is involved in. And you had sisters stepping in, brothers stepping in, everyone arguing at each other without even understanding that there's nothing you can do to get out of this condition. This condition is a spiritual curse. So no one there, all these people, and I can tell a lot of marijuana and other things was going on in this circle. None of them actually went to the root of why we got into this condition. And that's why there's so many arguments amongst them, and no one can come to a consensus. You know, one thing we can agree is that we all came on those slave ships together. See? We weren't Moors, we weren't Pan-Africans, we wasn't this, we wasn't that. The Bible prophesied of us coming on those slave ships before we got these new ideologies in a strange land which our fathers knew not. So let's go back to the science. Read that again.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20.
Go ahead.
O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust,
Go ahead.
avoiding profane and vain babblings.
Avoiding vain babblings. That means talking, that like fruitless talking. Babblings that lead to nothing. Everyone's just talking just to hear themselves speak with no answer whatsoever, and have the same conversation from year to year and nothing come of it. It's vain. So the Bible tells us to avoid vain babblings. Read.
And oppositions of science, falsely so called.
And avoid the oppositions of science, because the Most High knew that in our time they would use science to try to discredit the book. See? To try to discredit, because when they discredit the book, they're not just discrediting the book, brothers and sisters. They discrediting us. These are our forefathers. These are our records. So they would use science. Now, what's the another word for science from the past? You'll never know. You never guess, huh? Sorcery. Their science was sorcery. And one part of their sorcery is psychology. You understand? To make you look at your own book with your condition and not have you relate to how you got into this condition by looking at this same book. To make you believe that this book is somebody else's book. That's sorcery. Now, and I'm saying this because usually they go into science to try to disprove the Bible. They'll try to use what? Carbon dating. Now, if you want to, you can look into this. Carbon dating have been proven wrong over and over again. Like there was one guy was able to use a machine to carbon date something and put thousands of years on it using a machine. The Shroud of Turin and all that they found was a lie. You can't go by their science. It was just proven. Let that pass. Can you shut that? It was just proven not too long ago that the evolutionists, brothers and sisters, or backing based on this Big Bang theory, this evolutionary doctrine they were bringing in during the 1800s, and grafted it with a jawbone of a person and threw some dirt over it, and had some people come out and take pictures and claim that they found proof of evolution so that they can get financial back on both sides. See? So that now a Pan-Africanist or someone else can say, look at this science. The Bible can't be true when this predates it. See? They know the Bible is true. They know the history. They know we're the people. But they're looking to deceive us to stop us from going in it. In the Bible lies the answers. So the Bible tells us to do what? Read that again.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust.
Go ahead.
Avoiding profane and vain babblings.
That means avoid conversations that leads to nothing concerning our condition, concerning the true doctrine. And let me tell you, if any of you can do it, go to one of these movements where Africans and all that are coming together to try to come up with a solution and see what you get. A bunch of vain babblings. Read.
In oppositions of science, falsely so called.
Falsely so called, because the oppositions of science is only looking to disprove you. Looking to disprove you, whence you fell from. And now you'll start looking into other areas. That's the work of Satan. So what I did, I said, let's invite them on to have a conversation to say, well, listen, let's find out the thoughts of the brothers and sisters and what they're dealing with. Instead of it being an argument, let's just come together, because there's something that we can relate to. And what I found out in speaking to this brother last week is that they have history of Adam, according to the history of the first man being spun from a potter's wheel. Okay, the Bible says that the first man was made out of clay. So could that be Adam? So it's the same story, right? So why not go into the Bible then? I believe that history is in Egypt because we were in Egypt. But now let's join our information together and come back from whence we fell. That's the key. All right. And be able to admit when we don't know something or when we've been taught something wrong. Because I'm starting to find out more and more and more that these people are, our people, Pan-Africans, Africanists, are going away from the Bible, not because they read the Bible. They're going away from it because they believe the myths that the Christian church taught on the Bible that had nothing to do with the Bible itself. And the science out there that was put out there so that you would not believe in the Bible. See? Because they knew the answers was for you. Now, I want to go read that science one more time.
1 Timothy.
Some key things I want to go
6:20.
one more time. And then we're going into Deuteronomy 28. I'm going to show brothers and sisters this real quick.
O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust,
Go ahead.
avoiding profane and vain babblings.
Avoiding what?
Profane and vain babblings.
Avoiding profane and vain babblings.
And oppositions of science, falsely so called.
Science so called. Now, one thing I found out during this radio show, well, the last one we were on last Wednesday, is that they do, I'm talking about Pan-Africanists, they have certain things in the Bible or believe certain things concerning the Bible in which it seems as if it's a contradiction. So before I go into Deuteronomy 28 to prove that the Bible is the only book that can actually show our condition, I'm going to give you some of these examples that they give you. Now, if they were to ask a Christian this question, they would leave a Christian confused, and eventually a Christian, one that didn't study the Bible, would begin to walk away from the Bible and go into Pan-Africanism. And I find that this is a tactic because 99% of the people in the Pan-African movement all came out of the church. Their families and everything came directly out of the church. So obviously there was some information out there that could lure them out of their foundation. Christians mean well, and a lot of them are great people, but everyone is not a scholar. So when they pose these questions to Christians who only deal on faith and haven't did the history, they can shake the faith of the unlearned Christian. Like, I'll give you an example. Just say if I'm a Pan-Africanist and I'm speaking to a Christian and I'm saying that my way is the way. And a Christian is saying, well, the Bible is the way. And I pose a question like this. Who was the first people? The Christian would say, well, Adam and Eve. He's like, okay. How many children did Adam and Eve have? Well, Cain and Abel. That's how a Christian would answer. And then he would say, well, that's kind of weird that Cain was able to get a wife in Genesis, the 4th chapter. So if Adam and Eve only had 2 sons, where did the other people come from? How did he get a wife? And a Christian will sit there and say, yeah, something is wrong there because they haven't been taught. And see, there's a lot of areas just like that. And then he would say, well, that's kind of weird that Cain was able to get a wife in Genesis, the 4th chapter. So if Adam and Eve only had 2 sons, where did the other people come from? How did he get a wife? And a Christian will sit there and say, yeah, something is wrong there because they haven't been taught. And see, there's a lot of areas just like this that will deceive the unlearned. And that's what Christians have to be wise and understand. There's information that they cannot answer. And if you run into one of these people who know what to point out, they will actually deceive you and trip you up and make you to begin to question the Bible itself. And then after they trip you up, they'll say, well, listen, it's not your fault. We were all in captivity. But there's history we have that predates the Bible, that's before the Bible. And I need you to check out this book and that book and that book and that book. And before you know it, brothers and sisters, you are worshiping the ancient gods of Egypt, the ancient gods of Ham, the same gods that's against the God in the Bible. And it's a slippery slope. It doesn't happen all at once. It's a gradual progression. I would say regression, because you are better off not knowing anything and holding on to that book than allowing someone to lure you out of it. You was better off, because now you're done, because you don't deal with the Bible anymore at all. You don't even recognize the God you're dealing with now are against the Creator, because only the Bible identified the fallen gods that we must stay away from. You see the never-ending cycle? We fell as a people because we followed their gods. We go into captivity, we're punished so that the Most High can give us an opportunity to get back by going into the Old Testament and saying, well, let me start following the laws now. And while we're in captivity, we pick up the same gods that we fell to in the past. See? That means we haven't learned anything, right? Now, going back to just the example I gave you. Now, if someone was to come to me, now, of course I believe in Christ. Christ is the Savior, but I'm what you would call a pre-Constantine. We're what you would call pre-Constantine Christians. We believe in the Bible as it was intended before the pagan church came in and brought their ideology and taught slaves myths and Babylonian and ancient Egyptian ideologies, using certain precepts out of the Bible, but not using the Bible in its proper context, not rightly dividing the word of truth. So I'm going to give you an example of if they were to come to me with the same question. Oh, hey, excuse me, you believe, you're reading the Bible? Well, yeah, I'm reading the Bible. All right, who's the first people? Adam and Eve. Okay, so how is it that Adam and Eve had Cain and Abel, and Cain was able to get a wife, and there was only 2 sons? I can answer that easily. I answer it all the time. Matter of fact, in a few weeks, we're going into creation, and then we're going into the serpent seed. I'm talking about in the academy. We teach that easily. There's no one that's in the academy that can't answer these questions. Like, here's an example. All right.
Adam and Eve had more than just Cain and Abel. They had a sister, and Cain married his sister because they were the first people, the first family. So incest wasn't a law. So Cain married his sister. I forgot her name, but yeah, that's what happened.
Matter of fact, lawyer, let's do some role playing here. I don't think we've ever done that before. You be the Pan-Africanist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a Hebrew just reading this Bible here.
Okay.
All right. Ask me the question here.
Okay. I see you're reading the Bible, right?
Oh, yes, sir, brother.
Okay.
I see the ox there.
Okay.
All right.
So let me ask you, who were the first people in the Bible?
Oh, Adam and Eve, brother. I ain't even shadow of a doubt.
All right.
Yeah, Adam and Eve.
So here's the question. If Adam and Eve were the first people,
yeah,
how is it that Cain was able to get a wife in Genesis, the 4th chapter?
Tough question, huh?
Hey, you tell me.
Yeah. I mean, if I can't prove this, I might as well put this Bible down, huh?
I guess so.
Yeah, how did Cain and Abel? All right, brother. All right. Can you go to Genesis 5 for me real quick? Matter of fact, use my Bible I'm going into.
Okay.
All right.
You know it's the white man's book, right?
Okay. I'm going to show you some black people in it.
All right.
But let's go to Genesis 5.
All right. Genesis, the 5th chapter.
All right.
All right. What you trying to show me?
All right, brother. Just take my time. I know you don't believe in the book, but just read. I'm just going to answer the question.
All right.
Out of the same Bible. Since you knew it. You knew Adam and Eve. You knew Cain.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Read Genesis 5 for me, brother.
All right. Which verse?
I'll start at the first verse, my
All
brother.
right. Genesis 5 and 1.
Go ahead.
This is the book of the generations of Adam.
Adam, that first man.
Okay. In the day that God created man in the likeness of God made he him.
Yes.
Male and female created he them,
Yeah.
and blessed them, and called their names Adam in the day when they were created.
Okay. Finish reading, brother.
Okay. And Adam lived 130 years and begot sons and daughters in his own likeness.
Hold on. Read that again.
And Adam lived 130 years and begot a son in his own likeness.
Read it like you see it, brother. Come on.
After his image, and called his name Seth.
Called his name Seth.
Okay.
Read.
Verse 4. And the days of Adam after he had begotten Seth were 800 years, and he begot sons and daughters.
Hold up. Adam begot what?
He begot sons and daughters.
Oh, so Adam also had daughters. That's the answer. It's in the Bible. So usually when you go there, their mind gets stuck because they didn't expect to see where Adam had daughters at. Why? Because they were also deceived when they were Christians. They believed the same stories. That's how they know what questions to ask the Christians. They're only asking Christians the things they were confused about and had no teacher to teach them. On and on and on we can do this, brothers and sisters.
Mm-hmm.
See? That's just an example. But I'm going to tell you, because I was raised a Christian. If someone would have came to me with that same question at some point in a Christian church, I would have gave the answer. I would have been confused. Because we're not taught any other people outside of Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel. See? That's part of the doctrine of the Jesuits, to deceive the people. They have the information. There's millions of books under the Vatican that ties everything together, but they will never give it to you. There's information of our records, like what? The book of Yashar, which actually predates the Bible. The book of Enoch, that predates the Bible. So we're not saying the Bible was the first book, but we understand that we have records even pre-flood. That's before the Bible, that works hand in hand with it. Because the same Bible in Revelations told us that the earth shall help the woman. That at the very end, the Most High would actually have them go into the earth and find those records that confirm the true doctrine that came before the Roman Catholic deception. So yeah, I'm with the Pan-Africans when it comes to the white man deceiving and teaching lies they had no business. But don't try to put our book into that. The book exposed them as the liars. The Bible catches them red-handed. So separate the book from their deception, because they're working on both sides. They're working over the pinnacle of the Catholic Church, and they're working, the Jesuits, over your science and over your Africanism. They're every place. So don't say, well, I don't like the white man and I can't be around the white man, and every two times I look. You try to disprove the Bible with the white man's science. That's a contradiction. If you don't believe the white man, don't follow his science then.
Can I read this real quick?
Let's go.
This is Jeremiah 51, verse 19.
Let's go.
This kills that philosophy that the African history predates our history.
Let's go.
The portion of Jacob is not like them.
The portion of Jacob is not like them.
For he is the former of all things.
He is the former of all things. The only reason I'm using their example of what predates the Bible, because it's a play on words. Mm-hmm. The Bible is modern. Okay? It doesn't make the stories wrong. The stories are ancient. They were translated from scrolls. The scrolls that the Bible was translated from predates the Bible. Mm-hmm. And those scrolls predates African culture. See? Because before Africans, Ham, you had Noah, the father of Ham, and we have his records. Mm-hmm. See? I'm just using their examples. All right? Civilization did not start with Africans or Africa. Africa is only a name that derives from one of the sons of Abraham. Okay? That region belongs to the children of God. That whole region, including the landmass that was renamed Africa. It belongs to the children of Israel. Read that again.
This is Jeremiah. Let me get back. Jeremiah 51:19.
Read.
The portion of Jacob is not like them.
Go ahead.
He is the former of all things.
He is the former of all things. Since they want to go black, since you want to, let's go there real quick. Because I never hear them now say, now that the so-called white men have come out and say that all the characters in the Bible were people of color, even Jesus himself was a black man. You really hear them say that the Bible is a white man's book now. Because if the Bible was a white man's book, would it say this? Let's go to where Paul in Acts 21:40. Acts 21, and let's get Romans 11 to confirm what Paul was.
This is Romans 11, verse 1.
Go ahead.
I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid.
Have God cast away his people? That means since we fell, did he do away with his people and get another people? Paul said, God forbid. We still are the people. Read.
For I am also an Israelite.
What was Paul?
For I am also an Israelite.
Paul was an Israelite. Now let's see how Paul was identified by some of the Romans who've seen him.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 21, verse 37.
Go ahead.
And as Paul was to be led into the castle, he said unto the chief captain,
Go ahead.
May I speak unto thee? Who said, Canst thou speak Greek?
Can thou speak Greek? Read.
Art thou not that Egyptian?
Are you not what?
That Egyptian?
That Egyptian? Do you know that the Romans confused Paul, who was an Israelite, with an Egyptian? And we know back then, during that time, the Egyptians were what? Nubian. To show you that the Israelites, even in the New Testament, were black. So how can you be of Kemet in Egypt and have read the Bible and not seen that? That even Paul was called an Egyptian. Why? Because of his outward appearance. See? So Egyptians were black, and Paul was black also, but they were two separate people. The Egyptians were following the gods of the Anunnaki and the fallen angels and the religion of the fallen gods. Israel was following the Creator, was in Egypt for a time, and came out of Egypt. See? And became a people. These begot Paul. These begot Christ, the disciples, the people in the Bible, which is the black book now. We're not falling for the little white pictures Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo and all of them painted. The deception of the Roman Catholic Church putting white images in a black book. We're not going for that anymore. So now you can't say it's a white man's book. Now what? We have more. Go to Acts 13 real quick. We have more. Acts 13.
Acts 13:1.
Read.
Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon.
Barnabas and Simeon, what were they called?
That was called Niger.
That was called Niger or Niger, or another southern slang, nigger. See?
Was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon.
Barnabas and Simeon, what were they called?
That was called Niger.
That was called Niger or another southern slang, nigger. See? The disciples were called black, brothers and sisters. So how it is you claim that you're pro-black and you down with black, and you deny all the black people in the Bible. You deny the Bible, which is the black book. Isn't that a contradiction in itself?
Let me read this real quick.
Yes, sir.
This is for those who like to open up the Renaissance paintings like you were mentioning,
Exactly.
Leonardo da Vinci, and try to use that as proof that the people of the Bible were white.
Let me get this before they get that,
Mhm.
before you get that, because so that they can't think we're reading out of another book.
Mhm.
What Elder and Brother Lawyer is reading out of is the 1611 King James Version Bible, which have the Apocrypha included. In 1928, they decided to move the book into two separate books. So now they gave us this Bible, King James Version, and give you the Apocrypha separate. But at one time, during the translation, it was only one book, showing you there's a prophecy of them putting white pictures in the book so that they can become the authority and trick the people into believing that white people are the Jews or the Israelites. They didn't change the words, brothers and sisters. They just changed the characters. And through slavery made us believe that we were Ham and that they were the Hebrews. See, the Bible tells us that they would try to do this. Read it.
First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 47 through 48.
Go ahead.
Then they fasted that day and put on sackcloth and cast ashes upon their heads and rent their clothes and laid open the book of the law wherein the heathen sought to paint the likeness of their images.
So they sought to paint, the heathen looked to paint the what?
The likeness of their images.
The likeness of their images. Putting up a white Christ, Cedric Bourgier, putting up a white Peter, a white Paul, a white Abraham. They did this, brothers and sisters, in past history. See? And I'm speaking predominantly to those that are pro-black and think this is a white man book, not because you've studied the book, based on what someone told you in total deception while you were in ignorance, searching for the truth. Now, I said I'm going to tie it in all together. Then I'm going to answer some questions. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 to show you why we fell. Give you some history. Let's start with Judah, though. Let's go to Judah to show you, because we once ruled as Judah. We are Judah now. But our kingdom of the Jews fell under the Babylonians.
Genesis 49 and 8.
Read.
Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise.
Go ahead.
Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down to thee. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he crouched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up?
So Judah is operating like a lung, is crouched down, but have gone away from the prey. They don't know where the fight is, who to fight, how to fight. They don't understand that they're Judah. So the Bible is asking, who shall rouse them up? Well, there's a problem when Judah is destroyed for a lack of knowledge and is calling themselves everything except Judah. Why? Because you went away from the book. Judah describes your attribute. The kings. You claim to be a king. Well, the Bible is identifying black Israelite kings, which you can't even relate to because someone told you not to follow the Bible. But why did we fall? Let's get it in a nutshell. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and let's get it real quick.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 64.
No, before you get 64, let's get the 15th verse.
Verse 15, Deuteronomy 28, 15. But it shall come to pass,
But it shall come to pass,
if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
if you don't listen to the voice of the Lord thy God,
to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day,
go ahead.
that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So when Israel came out of Egypt and received the laws in the wilderness, Israel was given do's and don'ts. And we were told, our forefathers were told, that if we didn't follow the laws that was given to us, that made us a great people, that connected us to our God, that a curse would come upon us. Now, this is the only thing that makes sense, because we're definitely a cursed people. Christ says, I come to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Of course we must be the lost people. I mean, if you want to, just go to some type of black movement and see how lost we are. How can we come together and one person saying, well, I'm a Moor. Well, I'm a black African. I'm a black revolutionist. Oh, I'm a Muslim. Oh, I'm this, or I'm that. But all of you came off the same slave ship and have the same bloodline. And when the Jewish people are looking at you, they're preserving their bloodline and looking at you as totally confused. You threaten them not at all, because they have one idea together. Whether they're Democrat, Republic, okay, whether they're liberal, whether they're conservative, whether they are atheist or orthodox, they have one ideology, and that's the preservation of their idea of being Jews. You'll never see them in a room arguing at each other concerning the content of their origin. They will always protect their bloodline. See? That's how they can come up with solutions and answers and things of the world, because they are together with one ideology. You can't say you have it together when 10 people are in a room with the same bloodline, came off the same slave ship, claiming 10 separate things. That's the mark or the sign of a lost race. And that's why Christ says, I am not come but to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. We lost, and we're too proud to admit it. Let's go back and show. Deuteronomy 28:15, read it again.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15.
Go ahead.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
That means if you don't listen, Israel,
to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
their understanding and their ideology just enough, because they know you respect the Bible, to get you out of it, to go into their ideology. Because once you get into their ideology, the spirits will take you, and you will learn to detest and hate yourself, which is the book. This is us, brothers and sisters. You will learn to actually deny yourself. That's the trick of the Jesuits. They don't want you to read these curses, because when you read these curses, you'll say, well, that's not the Jewish people, that's us. This didn't happen to the Jewish people, that happened to us. See? And they use science and Jesuit trickery to get you into all these different philosophies, and you think that's making you unique. You think that's giving you an identity outside of your Christian upbringing, when really you're further from the truth than you were when you were a delusional Christian. You're further from the truth. Read.
Verse 16.
Go ahead.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Cursed shalt be thy basket and thy store.
That means you can't save no money. You stay broke. Now, that can't be the Jewish people, because they own the banks. See? They print their money. So that can't be, they own the banks. So this curse can't be on them. We don't have no money. We get money and it's gone, and we don't know when the next time it's coming, and or how fast it went. Whom you're actually trying to be. Speaking of the Jewish people here, so it must be speaking of a curse of us, that we won't have our own currency, our own land. See? Read.
Verse 18. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body.
That means our children, when they come in the earth, they'll be cursed coming into this earth. No sooner they come in, they want a vaccine and shoot them up with all types of diseases and try to kill them. It'll be a blessing for them to make it past the age of 2. A lot of us mourn, a lot of our women, when they should be celebrating, mourn being pregnant. Looking at the world we're going to bring our children and knowing that they're not going to have the privilege of other people. This is the curse that's written up in Scripture. Read.
And the fruit of thy land.
The fruit of thy land. Read.
And the increase of thine kind.
Read.
And the flocks of thy sheep.
Come on.
Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in.
That means when you come into the world, you're going to be cursed.
And cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out.
And we're going to go out accursed. Read.
The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do.
Because we come up with a lot of ideas. How many of those ideas ever really come into fruition? Great ideas. But how many of those ideas really come into fruition? Our hands are cursed. But we'll take the idea to them, the other people, and they'll be like, yeah, that's a good idea. And they'll make $1 billion off it and give you 10% and say, yeah, you okay, you good. Mm-hmm. You understand? Because why? We're the curse. We can't even be blessed with our own talent. And if you think that's not so, look at the entertainment business. It's filled with us, but who's making all the money? Our voices and our works, everything we do is to benefit someone else. See? This only relates to us. So how can they tell you the Bible don't relate to us? You can't go into African history and all that and the books of the dead and all these Egyptian books and find these curses that led to our downfall. You understand? Egyptians can't even go into Egyptian history. They messed it up so bad so that we couldn't be able to relate to ourselves in past history. So they messed up Egyptian history so that we couldn't relate to the time that we were there. Read more of those curses.
Until thou be destroyed,
Go ahead.
and until thou perish quickly,
Go ahead.
because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me.
We have forsaken our God. Read.
Verse 21. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee.
Pestilence, roaches, rats, pestilence, all up in your neighborhood. You're sitting there spraying all time, putting stuff down, bombs in your house and all that. Now, if you're a Pan-African, you can relate to what I'm saying if you in the ghetto. Okay? And you'd be like, well, other people deal with that. Well, I don't think you've been other places around other people. You go there, you'd be like, man. But everywhere you go, there's pestilences. Read.
Until he have consumed thee from off the land,
Go ahead.
whither thou goest to possess it. And the Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever,
With a fever.
and with an inflammation,
Inflammation, being inflamed.
and with an extreme burning,
With an extreme burning.
and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish.
Go ahead.
And the earth that is under thee shall be iron.
Go ahead.
The Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust. From heaven it shall come down upon thee until thou be destroyed.
Now look at what's going on in Africa where it don't even rain in certain areas. And they trying to dig wells just for them to drink. Our brothers and sisters are still being cursed over there based on our disobedience. And if they can't get out of their condition in Africa, the land that you say you're from, how far removed are you from any answers? Where are you going to go? You're in the land of your slavery, being of your captors who've been taken from Africa. And I come to find out that whole Pan-African movement, that whole thing in the United States was created in the United States based on our ignorance. You can't even find that stuff in Africa. That's something we made up to try to replace that void that was missing, which was the Bible. Which was in the Bible the whole time. Why we fell, the laws we broke. You understand? Read.
Verse 25. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them.
So it's speaking of the Most High would take his power away from us so that now when war come, it would overtake us. That's how we fell in Africa. See? Because our God moved out of the way. So it's deeper than just some social ills you can point out. We fell as a people because we began to follow the gods of the other nations and lost our refuge. The Bible tells us. Read.
And shalt be removed into all kingdoms of the earth.
And that's why we were removed and went into captivity, and not just to America, to all kingdoms of the earth, to serve other nations like we once did in Egypt. Don't forget, the Most High just delivered us from Egypt when he gave us these do's and don'ts in Deuteronomy 28. So if we didn't listen to the God that delivered us, eventually we would fall back under the same captivity all over the earth that we were under in ancient Egypt. And that's why on your American dollar, you have the Great Pyramid. See? The people that are ruling are your new Egyptians. And you are the slaves again. See? Read.
26. And thy carcass shall be meat unto all the fowls of the air,
Go ahead.
and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch.
It's talking about our sores and our scratching and our sicknesses we have accumulated during our captivity. We're some of the sickest people on earth. Even though we're the strongest, but they get us from birth with their vaccines and all that to break us down. Starting to come to you now? Now, suppose you were told by some person who didn't even know the Bible that you shouldn't go into it. You wouldn't have known that this was actually in there. So this is a point of conversation we can talk about now. Well, man, look what's happening in the ghettos. The Bible said this would happen to us. How can we get out of this condition now? Well, let's go into the Bible and see some of the commandments we broke. What God we followed. What were we doing outside the Egyptians? What were we doing outside the other people that made us great? Because obviously it wasn't us being an African or Egyptian or whatever the case is. Because if that was the case, we would still be ruling, right? We were a special people given special privileges, and to whom much is given, much is required. We were the children of God. We are the children of Israel, and our forefathers fell. That's the only answer that anyone can have. And even the other nations admit that we fit the curses. And secular history, but you will ignore that history. Read.
Whereof thou canst not be healed.
Go ahead.
The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness.
Now tell me we're not mad as a people. Mad, that means we're losing it. The Most High has smitten us with that. You notice how everyone is talking about, well, what we're going to do about mental health. Another way of entrapping us in our system. The Most High allowed this to happen because we won't come back. He smite us and he whip us, and we still go further into the other gods and further into disdain against him and his word. So we become worse. Read.
And blindness and astonishment of heart. If thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways.
And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. Let's go straight to it. Let's go down to the 64th verse.
Verse 64.
Go to 46 verse.
46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
Now, I can't read all these curses, brothers and sisters, but listen. There's one where it says, you shall betroth a wife or get engaged to a wife, and someone else will lay with her. That happened to us in slavery. When your master would consummate before you, your woman, the mother, the to-be mother of your children. They would have her first, then give her to you to be married the next day. Bible. Same book they say all the Bible tampered with. Yeah, they want you to think. They didn't have to tamper with the Bible too much, brothers and sisters. They tampered with this. Made us mad to drive us to the gods of our enemies. And the Egyptian gods are enemies to us. Have always been. Read.
And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
That means these curses will be a sign, so that when we look up one day and read the Bible and see that we relate to that, that will be a sign that we must be the people. See? It wouldn't relate. That's not a sign for Arabs. That's not a sign that we can look in and say, well, Jewish people went through that. They do not fit the sign. See? So by process of elimination, it can only be speaking of the black people in the Bible who served captivity, who was prophesied to serve captivity due to the sin. See? Those that prosper in the world, that operate through bloodline, lay down that prosperity to their children. And it's on and on and on. The curses that we're born under, we relay those curses to our children. It's generational. So the difference between us and other people is that they know who they are. We don't even understand why we curse and the fact that we are a cursed race, because we can't relate. We have no idea who we are. There's no such people in history as Africans. You can't name yourself after a land mass. It's the other way around. The land mass is named after the people. So we have no idea who we are because we went into captivity and no longer have a landmass to relate to. We weren't in Africa at first, or the land we call Africa. We fled into Africa running from Roman persecution. Africa became the wilderness, a place that would preserve us until our rulership again. But that's not the place from whence we reign. We reign as kings from Jerusalem as the children of Israel. See? Enemies that done this to us, they would only show us certain scriptures that could back their philosophy was the Bible. They never taught us about Deuteronomy 28. They told us we were from Ham. They lied to us. But when you go into the Bible, it's not Ham that's dealing with these curses being scattered all over the earth. It's us. It never said Ham would be scattered all over the earth. It's us. We're in Brazil. We're all over the place. Why? Because we are a people without a home, without a land that's soon to come. And they understand this. That's why they're looking to mass exterminate us, because the prophecies are in our favor. We are next. But you can't get it not realizing what you have to do to get it. You must first come back to your fathers. You must first come back to your land, your understanding of yourself, being a child of Israel. It's not Hamites or Africans or Kemet that's going to get the next kingdom. Kemet had their kingdom. It fell. Israel is next. And they're looking to exterminate our bloodline, whether you call yourself Kemet, whether you call yourself Moor, whether you call yourself, you can be the darkest Ham you want to be. If you're from that bloodline, they're looking to exterminate you because they know you are from the children of Israel, and that the Bible prophecies pertain to you. Finish reading Deuteronomy.
28:64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth, even unto the other.
Read.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
And in that new land you shall serve what?
Other gods.
So even though we had the Bible, the Christian church taught us to follow the Roman pagan gods by using biblical names. See? To worship Christmas, Easter, and all those things, Sunday worship. The Bible never says that. They tricked us into following pagan gods of Rome, pagan gods of ancient Egypt, pagan gods of Babylon. They tricked us and made us believe that it was so, using the characters or names written that we would trust. So the Bible is good in its proper context. I'm not going to put that down. I'm just going to use the Bible to expose the liars who lied on it. That's how we're supposed to deal with the book. Not put it down because it's too much information pertaining to how we can get out of this condition. Read.
Which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
Because our fathers didn't know anything about these Roman gods and the new gods that these people are following now. Read.
Even wood and stone.
We start worshiping wood and stone. Wood is your cross, because you're not supposed to be dealing with no cross. That leads to Tammuz. And the stone is the Kaaba stone of Mecca. We're scattered in two prominent religions on earth. Our people are confused in both of these religions. I can deal with the Bible and not relate it to Christianity and what their brand of Christianity they have today. See? The Bible identifies the curse of us worshiping the wood when you shouldn't. Worshiping the stone when you shouldn't. Say to the dumb stone, rise. It's talking about the Kaaba stone. It's talking about the two main religions that are when we as a people are greater than those religions. And we're greater than the people who have given it to us. Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art a special people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So You would say, well, if it says that, why would he curse us? That's a choice we made. We decided to be cursed, not coming back to our God. Let's not blame the Most High for our error. He's given us an opportunity to read our error and come back to him. And he sent his son. That's why Christ came into the earth, to pave the way, to give us a right way, to show us how to walk amongst man, to one day receive our promise again. He was sacrificed and killed and scorned for us. See? Read the 68th verse.
Verse 68. And thou, Salakia, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
Now, when you look at this word, it's not speaking of going back into ancient Egypt. This is speaking of the word bondage. Because the Most High already said that he would scatter us throughout the four corners of the earth. So it's not speaking of going back to ancient Egypt. It's speaking of that scatter. He would scatter us into bondage throughout the four corners of the earth by the means of what?
Ships.
By the means of what?
Ships.
By the means of what?
With ships.
With ships. This ain't talking about the Africans or Hamites, brothers and sisters. This is speaking of a curse of the children of Israel written up in the Bible. Something that was never taught to you in Sunday school. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Which means, again, this is their last captivity. Us being scattered, losing our homeland. Read.
And there,
and in that land,
ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
Sold to who?
Unto your enemies.
Sold to Mr. Jefferson. Sold to Mr. Washington. Sold to Mr. Cortez. Sold to Mr. Williams. You shall be sold unto your enemies for what?
For bondmen.
A slave man.
And bond woman.
A slave woman.
And no man shall buy you.
And that buy means redeem, because you cannot be sold and not bought. So that buy means no man will redeem us out of this condition. Why? Because no man put us in this condition. This is a curse from our Creator. See? No man, no matter what man we vote, no matter how many books they write about our condition and try to philosophize our condition, no man and no meeting is going to get us out of this. We have to come together and follow the Most High in spirit and in truth and come back to the commandments of God. And he will gather the elect to the elect. There's no, that's why all the meetings to get black people out of our condition have been fruitless. Marcus Garvey tried. Malcolm X tried. Elijah Muhammad tried. Okay? Farrakhan gave up trying. He done went under Scientology somewhere. That's why all the meetings are fruitless if we don't first look at our sins and what we broke and what happened with our forefathers. Every other meeting is totally fruitless, and it's nothing but a get-together and a barbecue.
So quick.
Go ahead.
Hosea 6:1.
Go ahead.
Come, and let us return unto the Lord.
Go ahead.
For he have torn.
For he has torn, read.
And he will heal us.
And he will heal us.
He have smitten.
He have smitten.
And he will bind us up.
And he will bind us up. That's crystal clear. One moment. And he will bind us up. Go ahead.
After 2 days will he revive us.
I need you to go to Hosea 1 and 9.
Hosea
1 and 10. Hosea 1 and 10. Then I got to make an announcement, then I'll answer a few questions.
Hosea chapter 1 verse 10.
Go ahead.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
Go ahead.
Which cannot be measured nor numbered.
Which cannot be measured nor numbered.
And it shall come to pass that in that place.
And in that place.
Where it was said unto them, ye are not my people.
And that same place that it said, that was said, ye are not my people. Now, that's because we're calling ourselves people outside of what the Most High named us. What land was it said we were not God's people in our captivity? They pointed us in another direction. While they took the name Israel, the name Jew, and the name Jews in Judah. So in that same land in which it was said, ye are not my people,
there it shall be said unto them,
there it shall be said to you, the Pan-African,
ye are the sons of the living God.
you are really the children of Israel. You're really the children of God. You're the children of the curse. Come back to the Most High. Come back to the book. And from that, you'll find your answers. Because guess what? I've been to Egypt. I'm very familiar with Egypt. And the Egyptians can't even get themselves out of their condition in Egypt. There's more. One more. How did we fall to such a pass? Let's go to Luke, where it shows us. And I'm going to tie that in till today. And I'm going to leave you with that. And listen, a lot of you are not going to get it all at once. It's okay. Let's pray for each other. Let's pray that we come into one understanding. Let's pray that we see eye to eye on this before it's over. But guess what? And I'm going to offer a challenge too. Any Pan-African that can actually come on our show or come amongst us, not make a YouTube clip, and prove the Bible wrong coming into the scriptures with us, I will become a Pan-African. And I'm putting that before the world. Because what I've found is the majority of them going into the Bible is not because the Bible is wrong. They went into something and didn't have the understanding on it and thought that they were dealing with someone that was confused with the Christian theology. A lot of Christians are not really fervent studiers to be able to give the answers you have. Okay? And that be the issue. But you come in with us and we're going to show you the error, because what you're asking us was part of the Catholic deception. It's not even in the Bible at all. And that's what we'll show you. All right? Let's read how we got into this condition real quick. Go ahead.
St. Luke chapter 21, verse 20.
Go ahead.
And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies,
when we shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies,
then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
The desolation that was prophesied in the book of Daniel.
Verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains.
That's how we got into Africa. We took heed to the prophecies and went around the Atlas Mountains of Morocco into the landmass you call Africa today. Taking heed to the prophecies. Why? Because it's history that predates the Bible that Jerusalem fell by the arm and by the hammer of the Roman Empire. That was our last stand in Jerusalem as black people. See? That's how we got into Africa. And that's why a lot of the African land masses are named with Hebrew names. Okay? You can find this in Nigeria. You can find this in all parts of Africa. Hebrew name that derives directly from Hebrew. The Igbo tribe. The Igbo, which is another word for Hebrew. That's how the Hebrews got into that Africa. It's a wilderness, a refuge from our landmass that was destroyed by the Roman Empire. And that destruction was prophesied in the Bible, well before Christ said it. It was prophesied by Daniel, some 500 years before Christ was born. Okay? So that's how. See, now we can not only show you our place in America, we can show you how we got into Africa, the slave ships, who took us down. That can actually be substantiated through regular secular history. It's in history that the Romans took Jerusalem down. And these were black Jews, brothers and sisters, that fled into Africa. These were they who were taken in the slave ships, fulfilling Deuteronomy 28. So how can you claim to be down with Africa and black people and deny the Bible? And I know that others who know true history will ask the same. I've had people from other races and all that admit, I'm talking about scholars, admit that black people in America are really the true Jews written of in the Bible. The only people that are denying it is us. We want to be everything but whom the Most High God called us. And that's more proof that we are a cursed people, a lost people. All right? Now, with that, I'm going to say shalom. We have an author that's going to come on next week. He's a historian and an author that will be on the show this Wednesday. And he's Jewish. He's more so a Jewish atheist, and we're going to have him come on. But the reason he's going to have him come on, not that we agree with everything he has to say, but he has circumstantial proof, and he's getting pushback right now through the scholar and historian, through the scholarly and historians platform that's set up to defend the Jewish faith. He's getting much pushback because he found that the people in Israel are not the people, and he's Jewish himself, that left Palestine. So when he come up with some of this history, we're going to just let him flow and just talk. We're not going to interrupt him. Just even though we may not agree with his atheistic teachings and all that, we're going to let him go into the history he found to prove that the people in Israel today could no way be the children of God. And then after that, after he's finishing totally going through his book and the historical findings that he found to prove that they're not the bloodline, then we're going to ask him one question. Well, if they're not the people of Palestine, who is? So that's the show we got coming Wednesday. And then we're going to follow up that show the following Wednesday, if it be the Lord's will, with the irritated genie again, because I promised him that we want to give him an opportunity with his Pan-African understanding to show us the way. Why we fell, the history, what he believed. We're going to just let him go forward with it. I mean, it's best, even though we don't agree with him, it's best to know what's out there, right? So we're going to allow that brother to talk and bring forth what is true. And like I told him, if he can prove to me that that's the way, then, you know what I mean? And prove to me the Bible is wrong, which no one has proven yet. Then we can have a conversation on the other way. But right now, nothing is near what we're seeing out of this Bible. Yeah? With that, to my Pan-African brothers, shalom, bless you, we love you, but don't say you're down with black people and want to deny a black book.
And the title of the lesson is Moving Mountains.